Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us at RevCon. I am Bree Sprague, your Partner Success Manager here over at RevGenius. Now, if you're a seller, you definitely want to know how your buyers buy. So what Evan Powell, co-founder of Reprise, is going to be talking about is exactly that, selling the way B2B buyers want to buy. Enjoy, and make sure if you have additional questions that you reach out because we will get them answered for you. Thanks so much.
Hello, RevCon. I'm Evan Powell. I'm one of the co-founders and head of operations at Reprise. We are the leading demo creation platform helping sales and marketing teams create demos that win. I'm here today to talk about selling the way that B2B buyers want to buy. And just so you all know, my background was in sales. So I started out as a sales rep. And when I co-founded Reprise and found myself communicating with a lot of vendors, I was really surprised to discover that a lot of the best practices that I had been taught as a sales rep weren't really succeeding. And in fact, I'd even go so far as to say that if you are still using best practices from software and B2B sales that were taught to you in 2010, there's a pretty good chance that you're pissing off your buyers. And what do I mean by that? Well, I think fundamentally what's happening is we aren't linking up as sales professionals with the way that buyers want to buy today. And the reason is the best practices that we've been taught were taught to us years ago. And if you look back to what it was like in the 2010s, when the standard, inbound lead to discovery call to consultative sale to close was really put together, the world was a lot different. Right? Like software as a service in particular was a much newer space. And so you had many fewer experienced buyers, right? When I was a sales rep in this era, a lot of times the people I was selling to had never bought anything before. And so buyers wanted more guidance. They wanted to be led by the hand. They said, sales rep, please tell me what I don't know. Please help me understand more about my business and how you can, be a resource to me. But that's not the buyer today. And so when we still sell that way, we have a lot of problems. Today's buyer has bought a million things, right? Everyone you're talking to has a tech stack of 10, they've bought it all before. And more than that, they've discovered that a lot of the things they bought didn't actually lead up to their expectations. A lot of them bought things that didn't work out well, or that were a pain to use, or had to explain to their boss why they weren't getting ROI. And so as a result of this, we've created very jaded buyers, and they don't want to talk to us anymore in sales, right? And this stuff already. I guarantee you everyone on this talk has already heard all the stats that buyers do far more of their research before ever getting to a salesperson, that they don't invite salespeople into meetings anymore, that they don't want to talk to salespeople, that most buyers found the last purchase they made to have been more difficult or challenging than they felt like it needed to be. And so as a result, we've got buyers that are saying, stop wasting my time with give to get. Just show me the product and stop making me fit into your process. I want you to enable my process as a buyer. And they're not going to put you in the room either, right? You used to, the goal was get all the decision makers in the room. These days, buyers try to keep salespeople outside of the buying committee because, again, they've had it happen before. Oh, that sales rep convinced my boss to buy this thing. It was miserable. Now what I want to do is I manage the process. I'm going to control the information flow that happens. And so it's time for us as salespeople to evolve. And the companies that are going to win over the next 10 years are going to be the ones that figure this out, that start to sell the way that buyers want to buy in this new world. So what does that mean? It means we need to design our sales process in a way that supports the new buyer's buying process rather than combats it and forces them into something that we want them to do. And that means we really need to look stage by stage at our selling process and make sure that we're making it better. So let's start right at the top. Let's start by talking about qualification. The first thing is we know now buyers are wanting to do much more of their research on their own. So you need to have a website, an experience that when buyers are trying to qualify and do their research on their own, it gives them what they need. They need to hit your website and within 10 to 15 minutes know what you do, but also how you do it. So that means put the product on your website. right? Make sure that all of that harbor tour demo that you normally sit and have someone do a bunch of discovery before they'd see, that needs to be right there front and center. Because if you don't do it, your competitors are going to, and you're going to find yourself in a situation where the buyers are doing all of their research and you've missed out. It needs to be in your email outreach. You need to be sending more about not just what value you provide, but how you provide that value in your email outreach. Because again, right, buyers all assume that you have ROI. That's the basics. They need to know what it feels like to actually get that. And then when they raise their hand and they say, hey, sales rep, can I talk to you? They actually want to talk to you. Because what's happening now is, and I have this experience, right? I go to a vendor website and I say, I want to figure out what you do. I'm going to fill out your demo form. And by the way, I'm not ready to talk to a sales rep yet. I'm not ready to be in the sales engagement, but it's the only way for me to see the product and actually understand what you do. And so I do it. Well, that means that you get ghosted way more often by these buyers because they were just doing research. They weren't trying to have a sales engagement. They just wanted to do that high level research and then they'll come back to you later. When you put that high level research at their fingertips, or when you proactively send it to them, and when you create an experience that aligns with the way that they're doing this, then when they come and talk to you, they actually want to engage with you. And so you get far more qualified meetings as a result, because the buyers are saying, hey, I saw that thing on your site that you do, or I saw that thing in your email and how you do it. Talk to me about how that works for my use case, instead of showing up and saying, so show me, what do you got? And that leads to a much better discovery call. And by the way, when I say discovery call, I don't mean the traditional discovery call. One of the things I feel super strongly about is killing the discovery call. And before everyone in sales here jumps down my throat, I'm not saying don't do discovery. I am saying that nobody in the universe filled out a form on your website or agreed to come talk to you and wanted to spend 30 minutes of their time answering a bunch of your questions so that you can fill in your notes in the CRM and then maybe get a demo next week. That is the most frustrating experience. And it's a holdover, right? It's a holdover from buyers saying, tell me what I don't know. Help me understand the things that I don't understand today. But the buyers that you're getting are saying, I know what my problem is. I know that I want something to solve it. Show me how you do that. And then we are just meeting them so far away from where they're coming to us by saying, great, well, I can definitely show you the product next week, but answer a bunch of my questions. Instead, the way that you want to be doing discovery is through a customized demo. You want to be showing them a product that looks like what their product would look like, with data that looks relevant to them. If you can even put in their logo in it, that's fantastic, right? And you're doing that because you're going to do discovery through your demo, right? The most effective way that I found in doing discovery is saying, hey, here's this thing that I think would be relevant to you based on, and by the way, you ask a few grounding questions so that you're giving the general right thing, but then you're saying, hey, here's this feature that I thought would be really impactful to you in these ways. Is that right? And now you've got a buyer who's going to say, yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely what I was looking for. Or no, it wasn't. And here's what I'm thinking of instead. And that is so much more powerful than the game of 20 questions. And what it ends up doing, right? I think in sales, there's this term, and I like the term give to get, right? Like, I give information and you'll get something back. I think what ends up happening is in sales, we've sort of weaponized this and told our buyers, no, you have to give me information that'll help me qualify you into my funnel. And then maybe you'll get a demo. We need to flip this on its head. We need to give them something. And that's what I'm talking about here, right? You give them a customized demo experience and you're going to get information back. When you are providing value, you will receive value in return. And as salespeople, we need to be doing that. And by the way, these demos, they need to not just show what the ROI is that you provide, because everyone's going to assume that you provide ROI. That's the baseline of software, right? If you are selling something that doesn't provide ROI, you have much bigger problems than what your sales process is, and this probably isn't the right venue for them. So let's assume as a given that everyone here is selling something that provides ROI. It's not just about what it's possible to get from your product. Buyers today want to know that the experience of getting that isn't terrible, because they've bought software where, sure, it provides the ROI that it says it does, but I have to live a miserable life as a user in order to get that back. They don't want that anymore. And so what we need to be focusing on is not just what the software does, but how it does it. And so our demos need to be focused on, here is how you're going to derive ROI from this. And is that how you would do it there? And again, right, we're showing that we're relevant. We're providing a customized experience, and buyers are going to offer information back that will get us what we're looking for. And so then we move on and start looking into the evaluation process. Now, a proof of concept is largely going to be the same in this new world, right? Like ultimately, a proof of concept is just that. It's can I set up some mini version? But now you've set up more trust and a better understanding. And so it's much easier to define the success criteria for that proof of concept because you've shown them pieces of your product, specific features, how they're going to benefit them. You've shown them that you're relevant. And then you're talking about, all right, how do I define my success criteria based on this? It's much, much easier to do. And by the way, you're going to need to find a way to get into the room without getting into the room. You're going to need to enable your buyers to sell with your product. So send them materials. And by the way, I'm not talking about a white page or a one pager or whatever it is. Like those I get sent those all the time, the PDFs that go straight to the archive, right? What you're looking for is enabling your buyer to be you in that buying committee that you're not going to get invited to. And the way that you do that is by, give them the ability to demo your product, give them the ability to show off the POC, whatever it is, and make sure that it's a way that you have enough control over that they really are enabled to be effectively you when you're not there. And so how do we do this? Well, there's, a bunch of traditional options. You could say, maybe convince your engineers to build bespoke demos. Let's be real, that's not going to happen. Right, that's especially in today's world where budgets are getting tightened and engineering and sales engineering resources are getting more and more strained. You're not going to get people to build your demo. So how else do you start to put the product at your prospects and customers' fingertips? Well, another option here is the old school PLG approach. Launch something freemium. And look, that can be great. Product-led growth is fantastic, and there's all sorts of great things about it. And fundamentally, right, a lot of the principles that we're talking here are product-led principles. It's give people a user experience as soon as possible. The reality is that doesn't work for everybody, right? Highly complex products, multiplayer products that need a lot of people collaborating in order to work, products that require security clearance or being installed into a code base or use PII. It's very difficult to get people to actually launch into a freemium motion, but it's out there, and if it works for you, that's fantastic. There is another option though, and that's demo creation platforms, right? The world has evolved now that sales and sales engineers can actually be in control of your demo. And so now we're in a world where go-to-market teams can actually, make the demo a part of the choreography of their overall sales environment, where, we strive so hard in sales for control of what we're doing, of what the path is, of what the plan is, but we've never had control over our product. This is possible now. And this is where, look, I told you I came from sales. This is what we do at Reprise. And, if it's something that's interesting, I'm happy to talk about it. I think, the core here though is finding ways to make your sales process delightful for your buyers. And really think about it, right? Like, whether you're a sales rep, a head of sales, or a marketer, or anyone in go-to-market, right? Like, if you were your buyer, would you enjoy that process? Would you find it satisfying? Because you're all savvy tech people if you're in tech buying things or selling things, right? And so like, would you enjoy that process? And if the answer is no, look for ways to make it better. Come talk to us. We're happy to help. I really have enjoyed sitting down with everybody today. Please, I'm happy for follow-up. You can find us at reprise.com. I'm on LinkedIn under Reprise. You can find me there. Really always happy to talk about this stuff. I think the key thing here is that we as salespeople need to evolve to meet buyers' needs. And I trust everyone here is well on their way. So please reach out. Looking forward to talking to you.